Hi friends, it's Tracy from the Financial Freedom Diary, and today we are back to set up my budget in EveryDollar. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Thank you all for returning. Thank you to anybody who's giving me a chance and want to see this old girl do her budgets. I appreciate all of you so much. I am sitting in my chair from downstairs, so if you hear any squeaks, it's this chair and me moving around in the chair, but I'm gonna try to be still. I hope y'all had a great day. Depending on when you see this. If you see it in the morning, I hope your day is super fantastic. Um, but yeah, I just got off from work and I'm like, oh man, I got a video to record. So I'm going to go into EveryDollar and I'm going to create my May budget. And what it's going to do is take a copy of my April and make it my May. EveryDollar to me is pretty simple with the interface, and I do want to try out another YNAB at some point, but I need to get moved and all this other stuff, make sure all the expenses shake out. I got to get a new washer and dryer and everything else before I tack on any more extra expenses. So it's in the future, it's coming up, it's just not right now. So let's get May. If you don't know, I will explain that normally when I buy things or I subscribe to things, I never cancel things, I never get rid of it. So yeah, I'm not that person who remembers to cancel subscriptions on time. I never did. But yeah, so that is coming up at some point in the future. So I'm hoping to just get moved and get settled. And I know I was asked, when did I talk about moving and everything? And it happened so quickly, like how it all came about. But really, I've been looking at houses almost every weekend, except for when I was on jury duty or when I couldn't move. I got to the point where I couldn't move. I wasn't going then, but I have been looking at houses, multiple houses. So let's confirm my full-time income, 5282. That is correct. Rent for my sons is 300. I'm not gonna put in any income as far as the sinking funds. I'll probably go back in and add that in later. If I need to use it to help cover from paycheck one, which is probably what's going to happen. I have to use my sinking funds, then I'm going to pay it back in paycheck number two, because I'm going to need that moving fund is going to become my rent fund. So that way I can front load part of my rent for the next month. So I want to at least have one half of my rent already covered, or a half and then some. So until I can work up to having one whole month in the hole, 2 whole months in the hole, and at least have at least 6 months in the hole that sits in that bucket, so I can use that to pay my rent. So hopefully that makes sense at how I'm seeing myself proceed forward. But I'm not going to put in the income section on EveryDollar or in my paper budget any income from the sinking funds until I see how everything shakes out. I do go in on Friday and I will be doing the check-in, seeing if there's any damage, making sure everything, water, the dishwasher, the refrigerator, make sure everything is working properly. All the drains, the toilets, everything. I'm going to be looking and going through that because I got an inspection thing that I have to do on Friday. So I'm going to be doing all of those things. And I also have to remember when I get off of here that I need to get renter's insurance for that location. So my emergency fund is 401. I wonder if the renter's insurance just covers my person, and where I am, it transfers, because I'll be in two spots. But I'll figure it out. With them, it's mandatory, or they will sign me up with their company and I will be paying that company. So I'll have to see how I'm going to do this, because I may have to do that to cover that 1 month, and then my renter's insurance will probably pick up at the new address, and the rates may either increase or decrease. So we'll see. But I'll call and check. Got to get my ducks in order. All right, so emergency fund, I'm estimating that I'm going to be able to put $401 in there. Gifts is going to be $160. But and my son. Did I answer that question? When did I decide that I was moving? See, I talk so much in these videos that I don't know when I had talked about it. It was the last two houses that I saw. So let me clarify that. It was the last two houses that I saw. And both of those houses had rooms that were big enough to fit king size beds in the non-primary bedroom, because that's what I wanted. So if it can't fit my bed, then a queen size bed is not gonna, it's not that much of a difference. And so the boys won't be able to have their desks, their dressers, and stuff like that they have in there. Each one has a different interest. My youngest son draws, so he needs to be able to put his desk, his art supplies, and all his stuff in his room. My oldest son's a gamer, and all his crap needs to go up in his room. So I needed to make sure the rooms were big enough. So both of these houses had rooms that were big enough size. So we visited both of them. They were quite some distance apart, but still out in the county. And the first one we visited, the smallest room was like, I think it's 12 by 14 when I looked at the floor plan. I just knew that we ran out of tape measure trying to meet length and width. We were doing the measurements and we ran out. So it was accurate to the scale of the floor plan that we saw. A lot of times they're not to scale, and I would walk in and I was like, oh, this is not it. This room is small. So let's go to the next one. So I got my Christmas gifts at $160. My subscriptions are $40. My clothing is only going to be $10. And the reason why this is set down at 10, it's always been 10 before, but what I have here, and I'm trying to motivate myself to lose weight. So the more I try to do with the challenge and eating right and everything else, stop with the snacks. I can't be eating cookies just because they're offered during jury duty. I have to do the right thing. And so that motivates me to lose the weight, and then I earn the money that way. I'm not always good, because jury duty was a prime example of me not being good. Sorry, y'all. I feel like eyelashes in my eye. But that's a prime example of me eating sandwiches, and I think I had some cookies. I I had a cookie. I know I had one. I may have had two. Yeah, two. Medical is $40. Insurance is going to be $130. So this may change in the future once I get everything transferred over to that address. I don't know what the crime is over there, because it tends to be higher in areas where you're near where people shop and stuff. And this one is kind of off away from that. So maybe it'll drop down. We don't know, but keep your fingers crossed. Car maintenance is $100. My household, I'm adding another 100. And so once I add that 100, that give me 404.66, and I'll be able to go to Sam's and pick up some stuff for the other place. I have what I need here, but it's just enough to last us here. Once we get the movers in, get us all moved, it'll just be me coming back, cleaning and stuff like that. Because I thought about maybe trying to outsource that, but I think one of you guys told me that I would do a better job than they would. So there's that. And so the moving fund, I'm not adding to it. So I'm going to change this to 0. But once I get moved, the name on this one is going to change to the rent fund, to help me with saving and making sure I have something in the hole. It's going to be totally separate from the emergency fund, just to make sure I at least got 1 to 2 months maybe there, and then pad a 6-month just in case I lose my job talk fund in my emergency fund. So I'm going to have to recalculate my emergency fund. Travel fund, not a thing. Electronics, $50. Alrighty. And so I still estimated my utilities at $275 for the month of May, because it'll be a partial month here with us having moved out. In the warmer months, we tend to have like our bill about $100 and something. So even in here and then over there, if they're about $100 a piece, I shouldn't go over $275. I should come close. But I'll be paying for 2 places. They're going to cut this one off on May 22nd, so it won't be for the full month. And then I'll get a bill here. The house is going to get a $25, charge. That's going to be turned on Friday. So that may show up in my bill coming up on the 27th for April or something, but I'm going to check that out. But I'll have 2 bills I have to pay. So the mobile phone, my cell phone is $75, and my internet, I'm going to make this an even $120. And here we go. So I'm going to change this category to rent one. And this is rent one is going to stand for where I am right now. And that's going to be 1060. And then I'm going to add an item. And this one is going to be rent two. Now I'm trying to think what other question I got. I forgot. This is what I mean by I talk too much. And that's going to be 1716. So you can see in my left to budget, it's looking like I'm only going to have $1,660 left to budget. But really that $1,660 will be coming from my second paycheck. This money for rent number two is due on the first. So I'm going to have to front load it from my sinking funds to go ahead and take care of that expense. And the amount that's in the moving fund that you guys see today. So let's go back up here and click. So you're seeing an amount of $4728.55. There are some expenses that I paid in April that I haven't taken out of this fund. So it doesn't have $4728.55. It's actually less than that because I paid my application fees, and to apply for that house, when you're like the first person, they put a holding fee. There's a holding fee you pay for that house while they process your application for approval and stuff like that. So that was another I think it was another 200. No, maybe it was 150. And then I know the total was 400. So maybe it was 250. And because it's $50 a piece for the three of us, and then so it's 250. Because the total was 400, and that's just to apply. And they put the hold on while they go through the process. And then I had to they had to verify our incomes, all of our incomes, but especially my own. And then after that was done, then they send you like this cost sheet that tells you what the security deposit is and the prorated amount for the rent. And so that was another 2103. So we'll say 2105 that needs to come out of this 4728. So that balance is not quite accurate, but I want to get that out of there, and then I'll be able to see that number. Then I'm gonna have the movers depending on if I move in April or in May, because we still got to finish packing up. And so I'm trying to figure out like how do I do all the things that I need to do, get to work on all my stuff in that time frame and not mess up stuff. So when my internet needs to change and things like that. So it's a lot that's going on in my head right now. So yeah, it's like I'm trying to put all the pieces together and it don't feel like it's working. So for the gas, $200. But yeah, so I'm sorry I don't remember the exact date when I come up with this stuff because I don't always remember things when I say things and things like that. But yeah, it feels quick to you guys, but I had been going to different houses with my sons and getting their feedback, how they feel about certain locations and stuff like that. So I'm still $240 over budget. Why am I going in the wrong way? Scrolling in the wrong way. Okay, so household items and repairs. I'm thinking about upping my household to $100. So yeah, it feels one way, but we've really been at this for a while. Did I put $10,000? Where did we get that from? Do I have an extra job that I didn't know about? Some recreational activities. So laundry is $75. And my personal is $150. My boys are $120. The chiropractor, I'm going to delete this line. I still have some in my FSA. I have quite a bit in my FSA. So what's going on with the chiropractor? My insurance has been taking care of a lot of my expenses. So they haven't really been hitting my FSA like I thought they were. And there's been a couple of visits that I paid out of pocket because like computer system might be down or something like that. So I'm going to delete this chiropractor line, but it could be added later. So I'm going to delete that out now. And so that brought it back in out of the red. So it's an EveryDollar budget right now. Health insurance is $30, and my identity theft is $6. Now the renter's insurance, that line may change, because I got to figure out how, if my renter's insurance will allow me to pay to kind of bridge that gap, while, because I still have to cover both addresses. I have to cover here, and then I'll have to cover over there. So I got to see if there's something that will allow me to do that, and I got to call and check on that when I start recording this video here. So not rushing y'all, just saying it's a whole lot. So you can see here in this little, like my little pie chart here, when I highlight this, my housing is $3,240 that I'll be covering. And this is why, like, when I came up with this sinking fund, I was trying to think through all the worst possible the worst possible scenarios, and I was trying to pull it in to get me close to when I needed to leave, but not too close to where I would be really stressed out. So I didn't want to be in May having another place. So I knew I was going to spend into 2 months having to cover rent for two places, because I don't like to be rushed. So that was part of my thought process. And we still got to get moved, so we got to pay the movers and stuff like that. So my bed has to be taken down. My son's bed has to be, like, they came from IKEA, so they have to be disassembled and then put back together in the other place. And so I want to label everything, get everything done with that. And our headboards are like bookshelves and stuff. So that's a whole nother piece, and there's no direct way up the stairs like it is here. You can just come straight up the steps into my bedroom. There is a little bit off, and so it's a little dip to get up there, so they have to lift and do some stuff. But I'm quite sure with the movers, they're more of an expert than me. I just can't envision it, and I don't want my stuff messed up. So we're going to take my bed down, take his bed down, and then we're going to put it back together over there. And I know how my sons operate. As soon as we get everything moved over there, they are not coming back over here. Nope. They ain't doing it. But yeah, so that was the logic behind the rent, the moving fund. It was to cover not only just my moving expenses, but it was to cover security deposits, application fees, um, movers, and stuff like that. And I knew moving in the house would be a totally different experience than my moving into an apartment, because a lot of times they cut what your deposit is or something like that. It's kind of like a promo to get you in. But a house is a totally another thing. You have to have first and last month's rent. So I knew that, and so I knew it needed to be a little bit more beefier than what I'm used to. So that's why I was trying to get it up to 5,000, with spending some money on boxes, but not a lot. And I was checking with my coworker, and so she got me some. So I was trying to use all those avenues to kind of help me get whatever I could for free, but not be reliant on getting free things from other people. At least being able to get what I need, what I needed. And so I have the money there for myself. And the only reason why this kind of looks seamless is because this is my second move in 5 years. I didn't envision myself leaving here until I had saved up money for a house. So I do want to buy a home. So this move right here was not in my plan. It was to stay here, keep this place, and my sons will stay here. My sons are not married. They don't have children. They don't have any attachments. They work full time, so they don't really have any responsibility. So it's kind of like I could dip out and they stay here. If they ever fall into hard times, I could help take care of my mortgage, but also help them if they needed it, but not because they want it. But like they could manage here. And that house, with the rent being 1710, the two of them cannot. At least I don't think they can. I'm gonna have to go and check some check stubs. I know my baby boy can't do it by himself. He would need roommates. My oldest son, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check his, because he makes more money, way more money. So I'm gonna have to check and see what he makes, see if he'll tell me. But like, that was the game plan when I started out. When I got debt free, it was stay here. And then, of course, last year we had the air conditioner go out, and y'all saw me sweating to the oldies and still trying to put out my videos and stuff on time. And I was angry. I was angry. And I thought, when that guy came back in the second time, I thought he had done something then. I thought something had changed. Didn't know I was right. So I knew in August I wasn't going to renew my lease this year. I automatically knew that because I was like, that was out of, that was out of pocket because it was hot as crap and they weren't fixing my air conditioner. And now that I've escalated it to the city and reported them to code enforcement and the Better Business Bureau and everything else, now they feel like they've been punished for old maintenance. But it's like, no, you kept old maintenance. You fired them recently. They were still walking around here, still messing up. So that was just like, let me go. Let me get on out of here. So yeah, it's with the house and me having to recalculate my emergency fund. I'm sorry if I'm looking over here. I'm just looking at my bed. I did a jacked up job making it up. It's like squirrel. But I had to recalculate my emergency fund to make sure I have the 6 months of expenses, and I need to have that put aside. And then I can focus on house. I need to be saving up for a car too, because I'm gonna have to replace my car because she's getting old. And then she breaks down. I want a beefier car maintenance fund so I can at least pay for repairs right now, to take care of that kind of stuff. So things are coming. I just need to sit back down once I get moved, sit down, go through my priority list and figure out all the things that I said that I wanted to do. Another thing, I know I wanted to get my youngest son a new bed, and I want to see what he wants. And if they need any assistance along the way, these are kind of like the little things that may pop up and push me back as far as saving for my own home. So it doesn't mean that I'm not going to put anything into that home fund. It just means that I'll be putting in reduced amounts into the home fund while I try to handle other goals and objectives with my family here. Because the way I look at it is my sons were with me when nobody was, through all the hard times. Me working 2 jobs, going to school, they were there. They went through that. So the least I can do is they're not creating dependence, but help them to take care of themselves and be self-sufficient. And right now, as long as I stay in Memphis, I am very, very, very uncertain to I don't want to live by myself. I like them being around. So yeah, I like that. So as long as they're okay and they ain't doing anything and we're getting along, so I feel like it's okay. But there's no codependent relationship. If there's a codependent relationship, it's probably me on them, and that's because I like talking to them. But it's like that. But they don't bother me. They don't bother anybody. They're not disrespectful to me or anyone really. So why not? But why not? But those are the things that could pop up, and I'm gonna make sure I come up and write down a new list, and I'll cover that with you guys once I get moved. What the new emergency fund goal is going to be, because having $1,000 rent and $1,700 rent is two different things, and I'm not gonna find $1,000 rent anywhere except for in a neighborhood I don't want to live in, where I told y'all we'd be stop, dropping, and rolling or whatever, because we'd be hearing pop, pop, pop all the time. And I don't want to hear that no more. But this will be a safer area. I mean, what you're going to have people with loud cars and stuff going through. And when we went there, there was one family outside playing basketball, whatever, a father and son. So it'd be nice to be able to, like to be able to have some space between me and my neighbors, and just to be able to have a garage. Y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. I'm at brand new. It's like, ain't gonna ask brand new, but yeah, that's how it is. And that's why I'm not including sinking funds now, and I'm not doing certain things in my budget to counteract and say, oh, this extra income is going to be used. It's just I'm waiting. I'm just kind of sitting back in the cut and waiting and letting one paycheck let everything roll. What did I need to use? Where did I pull that money from? Document it. And then number 2. So it's like paycheck number 1 is where I'm going to have to take the sinking funds and apply it to pay that second rent. And then paycheck number 2, I'm going to put that money back. So that way I'll have a rent close to a month's rent in the hole, because I don't know what the moving truck, the company and all that stuff is going to charge me, because this one's going to be a lot longer move than before, because this my first move here was within 5 miles, and this one's going to be much further. So that may take them over an hour, and every time you go over an hour, you're over this certain base rate, and I always give them a tip and stuff like that. So hopefully I've explained, hopefully I've done my best to explain. This has been a long day, y'all, and I'm quite sure my hair is sticking up because I can feel it sticking up over here. I can just feel it. It never lays down, no matter how many headbands I put on. It just like, hi, like that. It just does it. So, but hopefully I explained everything. If you have any additional questions, feel free to ask me. But yeah, I'm sorry it just kind of popped out like that on you guys. It was just, I was really, really nervous if I was going to get approved, because we had got beat out on another house that the master bedroom is downstairs. And I know you're not supposed to come to master bedroom anymore, but it was on the first floor, and there was 3 bedrooms upstairs, and we would have had an office space if I could have got that one. And the price was about what I'm paying for this one. I think it was more. It's a little bit more, but it was about the same. And so I was just like, oh, I really want that one. But somebody was in the preferred access program, and they have a preferred access where you pay extra for that. And I'm like, I'm not paying extra. I'm not paying anything extra. But I'm like super, super happy, excited, nervous, and everything else. And I'm like, how much more do I have to repack back up, shrink wrap this other stuff, and get all this stuff together? My stuff is pretty much together. It's some boys over there. They ain't right. But I ain't going to be worried with them. When I call that truck, they better be ready. That's just it. But I will talk to you guys again on Saturday. My voice just kind of went out. We'll do my weekly check-in. I think it's week 3. And so there's a lot of spending. There was a lot of spending this week. I'm hoping to stop it. But I'll talk to y'all later. And y'all have a super fantastic day. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Haven't had a chance to like the video, please do so. If you want to comment below, please do so. You can ask me any kind of questions that you want. If I can answer them, I will. But y'all have a great one. Bye.